The new face of Syrian diplomacy, already making inroads abroad and helping solidify the new country's international standing. Foreign Minister Assad al-Shaibani arrived in Amman on Tuesday to meet his Jordanian counterpart Ayman Safadi.
We have a real opportunity to achieve sustainable cooperation with Jordan in a way that reflects positively on both countries. We are now working to remove the sanctions imposed on Syria, which hinder any partnership that reflects positively on our people.
The pair later agreed to form a joint security committee to secure the border and try and stop any potential resurgence of Daesh. Safadi said it was imperative such moves continue at a crucial time.
We stand with Syrian people to rebuild their country. Building a united and independent Syria is in Jordan's interest because what is happening in Syria affects us directly. Everyone knows the size of the great challenges we have faced in the past, including drug and arms smuggling.
The meeting came as the United States said it was issuing exemptions on trade restrictions with Damascus, which would allow more humanitarian aid to flow into the country. The Biden administration announced the 6-month waiver could lead to eventually halting all sanctions previously imposed on the country. Some date back to 1979, when Washington designated Syria as a state sponsor of terrorism. Sanctions then intensified more recently after the beginning of the Syrian war in 2011, targeting the energy and financial sectors and, crucially, expanded by Donald Trump. The EU also imposed sanctions in 2011, suspending all bilateral cooperation with the Assad regime, citing escalating violence and human rights abuses. Similarly, the UN imposed travel bans and asset freezes on Syrian individuals linked to the 2005 assassination of the former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri. Rebuilding the country amid security threats is likely to be challenging. Sanctions currently cover a raft of areas, including trade bans, financial constraints, access to foreign exchange, and arms embargoes. Some in the country said they were no longer relevant to their new country now that the Assad regime had fallen.
Now the Syrian regime has gone and the sanctions should be lifted so that the people can rest and foreign companies can return to invest in the country.
As traders, we have been facing too many troubles to import, and mostly all imports have been coming by sea, which added more costs and increased the prices.
Salaries were no longer sufficient due to the rapid rise in inflation. The Syrian people were not only facing a military war, but also an economic war.
Few here are under any illusions about the scale of rebuilding required. The level of destruction inflicted upon Syria by the Assad regime is still fully coming to light. International help in the country's reconstruction will be vital. More important, however, is the hope and motivation of Syria's people to build a new nation. Flynn, TRT World.